Another SGC order is here, so let's go ahead and check it out. So this one here was a little bit larger than the last one. This is going to be 23 cards, and this also has a wider mix than the last order I sent in, which I hadn't sent one in for a while, and I got pretty good results on my previous one, so I figured I'd send in another and see how this one went. So we'll start it off right here with a 1928 Yinglings, say Rogers Hornsby, someone who doesn't have too many cards, and this one has like a slight creasing in there, so I was kind of hoping for a 3, ended up coming back a 2, so can't be too mad about that. It's not a super common issue. One of the many ice cream and food and candy releases of the time period. This one I more so just wanted to get graded. This one looks nice enough that I figured I would just slab it up just to make sure, just because it's sort of a high dollar card. Once you get above kind of a certain dollar amount, people start to get less comfortable buying ungraded. So I figured I'd slab him up. Next was a 33 Goudey Moberg, and look at the corners on this one. This thing is crazy sharp. It's got good color too. All around pretty nice example. And this one came back a pretty good grade for a Goudey. This one came back a 3, and a nice looking 3 at that. So was definitely happy with this grade. It's maybe got a little bit of kind of, I don't know if it's paper loss or just kind of edge wear there on the back. So coming back a 3. Can't be too mad with that grade either. This one here, there is no need to cover the grade. It's got some pretty big creasing in it, but another one I had for a while, so I figured I'd send that in. Come back as a 1, which was exactly what I was expecting. Still a pretty big card, 34 Goudey Dizzy Dean. Great looking card, and one you don't come across all that often. Moving on to another 34 Goudey. This one is Charlie Gehringer. This one was pretty nice, but it does have kind of some slight wrinkling through here. So I was hoping 2 to 3 range, and it came back right in the middle of that, 2.5. Good color on it though for what it is, and pretty popular player for the era. People who collect Tigers, which is somewhat local to me, within a few hour drive. He's always a player that people ask for whenever I do set up at shows. Pretty big name in Detroit. Moving on to some more pre-war. Also, don't think I mentioned, but these are all essentially chronological order, so we're getting here to the 50s and 60s stuff later in the video. Carl Hubble Diamond Stars. This one, pretty good centering on it, pretty good color on it. I was thinking 3 to 4 range. Came back 3, which I can't be mad about that one. That's a pretty good grade. Corners aren't quite nice enough to give it a 4. So pretty happy with that grade there, and a nice looking card in his tux. One of the more underrated sets. Wish it had maybe a slightly better checklist than it does with the Diamond Stars, but it's still got some pretty big names in there, and Carl Hubble is one of the bigger ones. Moving on to one of my favorite sets of all time, the 38 Goudey Heads Up. This is the Al Lopez, one of the Hall of Famers, and this is the one without the sketches and drawings in the background. Really nice corners on this one, and it came back a 3. It does have a minor wrinkle in it. Came back a 3 and just presents very nicely in the SGC slab, so happy about that one. This one here, I believe, was the biggest card in the order dollar-wise. So the Leaf Stan Musial, and this one has some creasing, which is sort of more hidden now because of being in the slab, but it's got a wrinkle / crease down there. The color wasn't perfect, so I was hoping for a 2. I really did not want a 1.5 because I already have a 1.5, so I was hoping for a 2, and it came back a 2, so I was very glad with that one. That was the biggest card in the order, like I said, and so if you can get the grade you'd like on the most expensive card, that's usually a good thing for the order. Super cool looking card, and one of my all-time favorites, that's for sure. Moving on to another Leaf. Been a lot of these graded recently, and lots of them in all my previous videos. Another one I pulled out, one of the sharper ones, the Luke Appling, and this one came back a 4.5, which I think I already have like 2 4.5s. Was slightly hoping for a 5, maybe. 4 to 5 range is definitely what I was looking at. The color's really nice on this one. The yellow and the red, everything really pops. Corners and centering weren't quite nice enough to give the 5, but still a pretty good looking card. A good example. Set him down here. Moving on to the 50s and everything else now. So 52 Topps Mini Mignoso. This one here, pretty nice. Soft corners, good color. I don't think it has any creasing. Was hoping for a 4 on this one. That's what I was looking for. Came back a 3, but still a pretty nice looking card. Any of those Hall of Fame rookies or cards I always look for, and this is no exception. One of the more popular cards right now. And we also have a Mini Mignoso second year. This one's really nice. If it weren't for this bottom left corner here, would be, you know, obviously grade even higher. This one came back a 4, but a great looking example still. Good centering, good corners, pretty much all around, just good, clean copy. And a really, really cool looking card. Super popular set. I mean, can't go wrong with that. Another 53 Topps here. This is a Hank Thompson, so I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame, but, you know, a star player, semi-star player. And this one was just one of the sharper 53s I had. The corners on it are really nice. Maybe the bottom right is the softest of them. This one I was kind of hoping for a 5 or above. Came back a 4.5 just to have it graded. Always like having more slabs if I can. So that's a cool looking card. And one of his earliest cards. It's not his earliest, but it's one of them. And that's a, you know, pretty good looking card at that. I'll always take more 53 slabs. And it can't be here. This one, similar story to the Hank Thompson, you know, sharp corners, good color, everything like that. Came back a 4, so basically what I was expecting. You know, good looking card though. Surface on this, as far as the color and everything, is really nice, pops a lot. So yeah, I was glad to get that grade too. It's not a bad one at all. Moving on to some other 50s stuff. Here's a 54 Red Heart Richie Ashburn, super sharp corners, super sharp color, and maybe in the back, I'm assuming, is what knocked the grade a bit, because it looks like it's miscut on the back. Which I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I've seen a lot of these Red Hearts that the backs are miscut more so than the front. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems to be something I've noticed. And this one, so I was hoping for like a 6, honestly, hoping they would ignore the back centering a little bit more than the front. And it came back a 4.5, so I wasn't super thrilled with that one. Not sure if I'll leave them in the holder, maybe. I haven't really thought about it too much yet. But either way, you know, it's a great looking card, and the Phillies colors go great with the red background. Either way, that was one that was worth taking a shot on. And then another Red Heart here. This one, similar story. This one was really, really nice. I was looking for like a 7 or an 8 on this one. I mean, the centering is really nice on the front. Really nice corners. Really, really sharp all around. And honestly, I'm not sure how this one got the grade it did. It looks really nice to me, but it came back a 5.5. So I was disappointed with this one for sure. This was probably the biggest disappointment in the order. I mean, I thought this thing was really, really nice. So we'll see what the future holds for this card. I mean, the corners weren't perfect, but I know SGC does grade a lot just kind of based on eye appeal and centering, front centering, and color. So I was expecting a little bit more generous grade from that one, but either way, I mean, a great looking card, great set. 54 Topps Phil Rizzuto, sort of throwing in some 50s and some 60s stuff in here too to see how they would grade, you know, different years and sets and everything. So the Phil Rizzuto was one of the sharper 54s I had, came back a 4. Yeah, I was kind of looking for a 5. I mean, 4 doesn't really add any value, but now at least it is slabbed up. So like I said, this one was sort of an experiment, some of these that I was sending in just to see, so I can kind of compare some of these to cards I may be looking to send in the future. I'll probably be putting together another order at some point if I pick up some more raw cards that I think would be worth sending in. Here's a 54 Bowman Phil Rizzuto, similar story to the other one. This one came back a 5, so the corners were sharp. Another one that doesn't really add a ton of value, but it's slabbed up generally makes it easier to sell, has a more set price. Here is an interesting one. So 55 Bowman Mantle. This one was pretty nice, you know, for what it is on the front. It's not perfect, obviously. The edges are a little touched, but pretty nice eye appeal. And this one here on the back has the slightest little nick of paper loss right there. So I've seen some cards get 3s with like a little nick of paper loss like that, and I'll go grab one and show you guys. Like this John McGraw I have here, this Sporting Life. This one was really nice on the front, and I was considering even cracking it. And then I kind of flipped it over and saw that there, so that's why this one it got a 3. So I was hoping for a similar story on the Mantle, because if not, If this card didn't have that, I was definitely planning on cracking and resubmitting that McGraw. But long story short, sent in the Mantle because I thought it was similar. Came back a 2. So nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. Didn't exactly get the grade I was hoping for, but it's not that much lower either. It's not like they gave it a 1. No creases or anything, so it's still gonna look pretty nice for a 2. I mean, you're getting a good card, that's for sure. 56 Topps Nelly Fox. Like I said, just going through picking out some of the sharper ones I had. The corners on this were really nice. Color was really nice. He came back a 5, so that's a good looking card. Pretty nice right there. And we got a couple more to go through here. So next up is gonna be an Orlando Cepeda rookie. This one here, this one got basically what I was expecting. I thought it was pretty much a 4 all day long, and it came back a 4. So no real creases, no surprises or anything like that. Nice color, off center, not perfect corners. I think 4 is a very fair grade, pretty much as I was expecting with that one. And now a 58 Maze, so another Hall of Famer from that set. This one I was sort of looking for a 5. The color is probably similar to the Cepeda, but I thought the corners were a little bit sharper. I was hoping for a 5 and it came back a 4. I mean, not a big deal. Super nice looking copy though, for sure. Centering is a shame because the rest of this card is really, really nice condition. Either way, another Willie Mays slab to add to everything. And we're down to 3 here. 64 Topps Phil Necro rookie. This one I was kind of looking for like a 5 or a 6 was what I was planning on. Let me check the back centering. Yeah, it's not anything crazy going on. So this one, like I said, looking for a 5 or 6, came back a 4.5. Thought this one was maybe a little harsh. I mean, if you're gonna have a couple grades that are a little harsher than you'd like, I'd rather have them on the less expensive cards than on the cards like the Musial. So you got to take the good with the bad. So we'll live with that Phil Necro 4.5 right there. And 2 more here. So we got the Ryan rookie, Nolan Ryan, and Jerry Kuzman, of course. Super sharp corners on this one. Centering was the real issue. I was worried about sending this to SGC because of the centering. It came back a 4, so pretty standard, you know, I can't be mad. I think that's a very fair grade for this card with the centering, obviously back centering off a little bit too. Still a Ryan rookie, so that's, I mean, super cool card. We'll add him back there. And the final card of the order, a 68 Tom Seaver. This one I was hoping for a higher grade. I thought the corners were nice enough to give it a higher grade. Centering wasn't perfect, so they gave it a 5. But all in all, pretty fun order. If you guys liked this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out. Thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all next time.